Hello viewers, and welcome to another episode of In the Hot Seat. Joining us today will be Councilor Claude Hamilton of the Portmore Pines Division in Portmore. So join us, because I'm quite sure you'll find this interview very interesting and entertaining. But first, before we go into the politicking or the politics of things, let's get to know who is Claude Hamilton. Firstly, tell us, where were you born?
Kingston, Jamaica, like everybody else.
No, not everybody else.
That I know, Jubilee Hospital, April the 1st, 1970. I was born one of a pair of twins for Clement Hamilton and Charlene Hamilton, young couple having their second child, but it was my mother's second pregnancy, which bore her 3 children. My sister, late Carol Ingrid Hamilton, she was born 1969, January the 4th. My brother and I, a year after, April the 1st, 1970.
Okay. So you're one of a twin?
Yes.
Okay. Which schools you went to?
Not remember the name of the basic school. We went to Holy Child Preparatory School. That's in the Half-a-Tree area. From there we took common entrance and we ended up at the great institution, Calabar.
The term ended up, you know.
We went to. Yes.
Okay.
We had the privilege of attending Calabar High School.
That sounds more like
and
it.
That was from 81 to 87.
Okay.
Left from there and I went to the College of Art, Science and Technology. Formerly College of Art, Science and Technology.
No UTech.
No UTech, but I would tell people I went to CAS.
Okay. All right. So you went to Calabar. With full disclosure again, I am also a Calabar past student too. All right. Old boy. All right. Now, in your life, what would you, who would you consider your, who would you say that you have loved?
I would have loved. My first love would be my parents.
Okay.
That at the home, that's where I learned love, learned to receive love, to reciprocate love because of what love is and what they taught me. Love is sharing, love is giving, and it's a sacrificial thing. And I think for me, in my adolescence, childhood and now adult life, what I have seen the sacrifice my parents would have made for me unconditionally, without a question, I know that is straight love, Apart from their parental duties to carry me through till I am on my own and can be self-sufficient. Even as a man now, some things that both parents still do for me, to help me stand up as a man. Most parents wouldn't do that, I think, but because of them, I can truly say I am the person who I am today.
Okay. I guess one of the questions I want to ask might be tricky, and so you might only have to say yes, but this is one of the few times that you might have to say yes or no. If you desire, as a twin, right, or as part of a twin, undoubtedly in your younger years, there would have been many opportunities to take advantage of being a part of a twin with the ladies and so on. I know that there are not stories that can be, have there been adventures that you could mention over the years?
No.
Over the year?
No, I'll tell you something. Once the ladies or people in general find out you're a twin, they would naturally think that in some way, shape, or form that you will try and trick them. So they're always on their guard with that. So they don't really, if one woman or one person or any individuals know that you're a part of a twin, what they will do, they will close mark you to see.
Okay.
First question would be, what are the difference? How would they tell you? And if you don't, even if you tell them what the difference is, they would try and pick up something for themselves. Who walks a certain way, who uses a certain word. If they see a shirt and it have a certain mark on it, they will even mark that mark. So, I mean, we didn't get much opportunity to, not to say that we're already having fun being twin, to say the trick part of it. Most persons think that you being a twin, you trick people. But honestly, growing up in church, Sunday school, and the type of personality we had, I mean, that wasn't us to trick people. The fun wasn't in trick people. The fun was us living and getting the notoriety and the attention that you're getting. Okay. You know, you wasn't much fun going that way. You're already having fun being a twin.
Okay. All right. While growing up, you are now a politician, right? That is your vocation now. In your past, was there an issue or something that happened that might have initiated that interest in politics? Because politics usually has to do with helping to, bring better for the people. Or is there something that happened in your life, in your past, that you would have considered that now that you're in politics, you could help to rectify that? Was there such a time or an epiphany of sorts?
No, I would say nothing. I say most people think that, and I'm speaking for myself, I think that most people think that persons jump up and say, I want to be a politician. Some people do.
Okay.
I want to be a prime minister, I want to be a president. But on that road getting there, if you do not, one, first, have a love for people. Two, have a love for community and always this desire to help build a different community, help build a different setting, help build a different social condition. A group of friends would sit here and you look across and your neighbor's fence is going down. I would have the inclination to say to my peers, Miss Mary, fence breaking down, let us do what we can do to help. So it's a matter of being part of a group at Sunday school, and we're taught to do things as a group together. In adolescence coming up, I was fortunate to be a part of the Calabar track team management, and that never really entails much for me. Big high-tech work. My job was basically to help out in any small way that we can. And of course, I can plug in, you were a part of that group when we decided that the track team wasn't in a favorable light. So anything that we could do to help, it was just a natural calling for us to come together. It's not that we wanted to lead the track team. Instead of us staying on the sidelines and criticize, we want to help to make a difference. And when you interact with the boys, and you of the track team, and you find out their different backgrounds and social standing, and you know that in some way, shape, or form, you could offer some form of mentorship and guidance, how they study, their career path, with or without tracks, and how basically it can strengthen their morale and give them confidence to go out there and perform at their best. Leaving from there, activities at church, activities at your community, the neighborhood watch, persons on Labor Day wanted to beautify the community. So there was a wish there to help my fellow mankind. So you naturally have to have a wish to do that, and the love of people. Without that, because persons say politics has this thing, all let me get in. When they come into politics now and they're in the real life,
and they call for the work.
It's an interaction with people that is never ending. And most people can't handle that. It's not a switch that you turn on and off. It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 24 hours, 7 days a week. And personally, I used to watch TV when election time come up, and I used to get the excitement. However, the production was on TV, the excitement of the crowds, the music, the speeches. And one day I just said to myself, I was with some friends, and I said, I would look, it was 2002 general elections coming up. And I said to some friends, there was 3 of us sitting down. I said, elections coming up, I would love to be part of an election campaign to get a feel what happens.
Hold that thought, though. We're going to go for a break, and as we come back, I'm going to ask you to finish up on that. Do you need your wedding videotaped? Do you need a commercial or an interview done? Then call Sunshine Video Production. We videotape and edit functions, graduations, stage shows, music videos, and even funerals. We have a video studio and offer help with your marketing and promotional planning. So WhatsApp or call us at 883-0525. Councilor Hamilton, you mentioned that you made your decision while hanging out with some friends and seeing what was happening on the political landscape, and decided that you wanted to be a part of it and to help direct the destiny of the country. Because in politics, that's really what is done.
I wouldn't describe it was like. My interest was piqued to find out what it is like.
Okay.
Because you're always watching it from the sense of on television.
Yes.
Growing up in...
You mean as just a spectator?
Just as a spectator. You see it happening all around you. And you're saying, what is it? Because the campaigning, I know, would be to me, it was a fun-loving part. People go out, the music, the excitement, the crowds. So that is where I said I want to be a part of it.
Well, I must say, and as I said before to the viewers, we have known each other for quite a while, and as part of the Calabar family. And I must say that those times when we were a part of the Calabar track team management then, it is close to it is a campaign.
Yes.
It is a campaign.
Yes.
Right? Because there are times when you just have to, find out what is the cause of certain things and solve problems on the go with the constant thought in the foreground of your mind, the front of your mind that, hey, we want to win this, on many occasions we were victorious,
but we didn't get there overnight. There had to be a lot of tweaking.
Yes.
What the problems were, how to solve it, what to put in place to neglect or to put ourselves forward. So it was a more than just a chemistry thing. Hard work went into making those steps possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Point taken. So that is, so you would say it's not so much, because the thing is, why I have to ask that question is that I asked that question with some of the other interviewees, and some of them mentioned some moments in time for them where they personally experience injustice, and that actually pulled them into politics.
Well, I went through different stages. Like I said, I went to the campaign stage, and I was fortunate to, at that time, to be introduced to Fitz Jackson. Okay. One of the persons who I was speaking with knew him on a personal level and said, if you want to get involved, let me
make the connection.
Made the connection. The connection was made. We had a few persons in common. Actually, my mother knew him, used to work with him when he was a hospital administrator at Medical Associates. So, at that time, he knew my lineage, and I was very keen on me being interested. And how can I help? What are my forte? What's my forte? And that sort of thing. So I came in as part of the South St. Catherine campaign at that time for the 2002 election. We went walking. I took information. We did data, took the voters list and disseminated certain communities, how many residents live in that community versus how much residents in that community
but we
on
don't
the
reach the
voters
politic
list.
part yet,
No, I'm not into politics. I'm just in the campaign.
All right.
From there now, after the election.
No, what I mean for the interview.
Okay, for the interview. Okay.
All right. My next question, though, is after school, what would have been your first paid job?
First paid job? You're not talking about summer holiday work, right?
No, man.
No, I had got a job working with the Eagle Financial Network.
Okay.
at the Eagle Merchant Bank.
Okay.
That was 1989. Came in at entry level at that point. Did an interview, was successful, and actually went into a merchant bank, which I found out was different from a commercial bank, but nevertheless, it was interesting working in the accounts department at that time.
Okay. One of the things I also like to find out from politicians also is, for everybody has someone who they look up to, right? In the same field. So for you, I would like to, well, this is for not local ones as yet, for international politicians. I would like 2 international politicians, both alive and 2 dead, that you see as iconic.
Well, Fidel Castro would definitely be one of them, and you also would admire Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Fidel Castro actually was more than a son of the soil who saw that there was a need for his people to move forward, and actually would have know that he would have to do it by any means necessary. I mean, Nelson Mandela had a lifelong passion to move his people from a certain level of suppression, of oppression, and to move his people to a rightful status of their own self-rule. You know, so those 2, looking at the obstacles that faced, because both were in prison.
Yes.
Both were in prison, faced torture and all these sort of things, and then still persevered to end up leading the nation to a state where they can be proud of giving them their own self-governance and moving forward.
All right. And same international ones, but 2 are still alive right now.
International politicians that are alive now.
That you say that you see as iconic.
They're not necessary to have to be in office now.
No.
Well, you know, definitely in terms of the international stage, Barack Obama, and you would also look at, going over to even, can't come to mind right now, even in Ethiopia now, the present leader in Ethiopia right now, when you look on the advancement of the Ethiopian economy. Okay. Once upon a time, Ethiopia used to look like a dust bowl and people out of whack, but Addis Ababa right now is a pearl of modernity in Africa. What the transformation has been with Africa through agriculture, through technology, even engineering, because they're building that new dam, the Blue Nile Dam, that they say would bring hydroelectricity and all these different form of power outlet and commerce into Africa right now. Africa is being transformed.
Okay. Well, now we'll go on to local ones, both dead and alive.
In terms of dead politicians who are definitely inspiring locally, Michael Manley, definitely. And I will go even further and even say Norman Manley. 2 different era. One brought the ideology.
The ideology,
The other one actually into practical terms. When you look on how Jamaica society was in the colonial, post-colonial times, we were still under bondage.
Okay.
Even you being a free black man living in Jamaica, that didn't entitle you to vote. So bringing about adult suffrage, where once you're an adult, you had the right to make a decision that would affect your country directly. And bringing that about and help tearing down certain barriers and class, and bringing about a education standard that would lift. Because, you know, prior to the common entrance, when a child went to primary school. If your parents weren't of a certain social or educational background, primary school would finish for you at 12 or 13.
School was finished for you?
School was finished for you. And then now for them to bring out common entrance where every child would go on to get a secondary high school education to further himself, you know. That vision that says that education is the key started from then. So those are two politicians who I would say that I would have admired.
Okay. Two living
politician, P.J. Patterson. The tenacity that he brought and to bring a playing field that was leveled. I mean, telecommunications, at that time I remember in the 80s, you couldn't just jump up and say you afford a car. So the car market was deregulated.
Well, he participated in the deregulation of it.
Yes, so I would say P.J. Patterson, our next living politician now, Peter Phillips.
Okay.
If you look the different ministries that he had worked, Road and Works, Change Up Halfway Tree, brought about the JUTC, and was able to bring a certain level of standard of health into the hospitals, that not because you're not going to a private hospital, you can go to a hospital and get certain amenities, yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to go for a quick break. When we're back, ask you some more questions. Do you need your wedding videotaped? Do you need a commercial or an interview done? Then call Sunshine Video Production. We videotape and edit functions, graduations, stage shows, music videos, and even funerals. We have a video studio and offer help with your marketing and promotional planning. So WhatsApp or call us at 883-0525.
I believe I was called into politics, and based on the representation that I give, a higher calling for me right now, I don't see it in the cards. Everybody would love to be at the top of the game or to be there, but wanting to be a member of parliament is not easy as that. It doesn't come idly so. You first have to decide, is there a vacancy? First thing, I live in Portmore. Now, is there a vacancy within the Portmore or the St. Catherine environment for me to run? I don't see an opening right now. That in itself would take some convincing or pushing or getting yourself out there, which would money. Because to run a political campaign prior to election and during election is a costly event. And you have to realize this. Political parties don't really give you money to run election. When I was thinking about getting into representational politics, and I offered myself, I wrote a letter, said I'd love to get involved. When I was being interviewed, the first question they asked me, how are you going to fund an election campaign? And, you know, I just answer them off the bat. But when you sit down and you really look into know what does an election campaign cost, because persons don't work for free. It costs to feed, it costs to print material, it costs to print shirts and all that. And if you do this at the local level, it's going to come at some sacrifice to you and the money that you would have put down for your family, also your retirement. Are you willing to sacrifice that? No, persons nowadays, when you're running a campaign for a member of parliament seat, you're looking at more than 5 times what you're spending, even more than what you're spending now, depending on certain seats. It can run in excess of 10, 15, $20 million. So one thing I can say right now, I have a young family, and politics has really robbed or taken away some of my family time, and I would like to make sure before going deeper or into higher office, which is going to take more of my time, that I can see my young children pass the worst. And at that point, I would say, yes, I am ready to go forward. But for now, I will stay as a councillor until the calling goes otherwise.
Okay. Okay. Is there any reason, if a youngster were to come to you and ask you, why should I vote? What would be your response to that youngster?
I would advise that young person or tell him the reason for him to vote is to take control or be a part of the development or the building of his community. Now, when a person gets into representational policy, he is guided by what the persons in his constituency, division, or community wants. If you don't vote, you don't have a say. Now, if you looked on how your nation was built, you have, as a young person, especially now, let your voice be counted. Because at the end of the day, prior to a general election, politicians look at the numbers and we look at the demographic. Who are we going to spend our scarce resources on our scarce time on to convince them to vote? If the younger demographic do not vote or show themselves as a potent force, we're not going to campaign to them. So the thing is, you at this point want your voice and your opinion. So as a young person, let your vote count and let everybody know that the young person's vote count. How does it benefit you? Nowadays, most persons think that politics should, especially when election time comes, should benefit them in their pockets. But if you look back to political decisions that came about with common entrance and free education, it didn't benefit persons in their pockets, but it did benefit a whole generation, an era. Even now, persons, I myself, benefit from common entrance. Most Jamaicans know, but they take that for granted. What is it next that you want to tell the government that your voice wants to show where to impact? Your voice needs to come about to tell the government that, look, we believe as a people the direction of free health or the direction of improving hospitals, the direction of building more infrastructure that would more provide work, more geared towards putting young persons at the crips or the ebb of technology. We believe that the salaries that you're paying are too low. Government has to listen to the voice of the people. And the voice of the people who comes through the vote. Don't watch how much noise they make on the talk shows. Don't watch how much noise people make in the street when the camera comes and there's a shooting. Don't watch all the noise that is made on social media. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't affect the voting, it doesn't count. If a politician knows that that person who is out there directing or demanding that this issue has to be resolved by this method, and this person carries the weight or speaks for the young generation who have a potent voice in voting, that is where they will go. It's a supply and demand. Your vote is like a commodity, right? We are trying to appease to it. You're going to say, me voting for you is for an issue or is for a reason. Are you going along that line or not? I notice overseas now, in certain developed countries, they have the Green Party. So persons who want to end pollution, who want to end the depleting of the earth resources, and with the ozone layer, they want to go green. So if the party doesn't, or that politician doesn't present themselves,
doesn't pay attention to that concern.
Say, I have the same belief as you. When I get into office, this is what I'm going to demand. So you have an next set that are want to put a separatist agenda. They are more against society going a certain way. Nowadays, you have parties or politicians to say, I'm all-inclusive. This type of, all the different lifestyles that are being shown should be put to the fore and give special attention.
Well, it speaks to the fact that, especially with the youngsters, they have a lot more options available to them, and they have a lot of interest. But if your interest, as you're saying, if your interest isn't one that you can back up your interest with vote, then chances are nobody is going to be interested in what you're interested in. Right.
I mean, if you like me, but you're not voting for me, I mean, I remember when PNP had an internal election for vice president, and Roger Clark, we voted for 4 vice presidents, and about 6 persons went out. But Roger Clark lost. And you know, Roger Clark was on the mic and he was in a crying mood. I said, Roger Clark, boy, but I don't know how you lose. Man said, well, look, the amount of people would tell me, say them vote for me, and I don't see how I lose. But the thing is, everybody will tell you, yes, you're a nice person, yes, sir, to get that. But if they don't vote for you, you'll be right, Roger Clark laughing. But guess what? A lot of people can't face him now, you know. I said they never vote for you, but them still like you. So the politics, I mean, unfortunately, is not even about how much good work you do. It's not about how much people like you. When the campaigning starts, it's a different ball game. How well is your political machinery oiled to get out the votes to vote? A person might convince you, yes, you like Claude Hamilton, but they can convince you, say, look, we're pushing things this way. So you have to play a scientific game. It's all about numbers. So it's not whether or not you're a good guy or a nice guy, it's how many votes you can pull out on the day.
Do you need your wedding videotaped? Do you need a commercial or an interview done? Then call Sunshine Video Production. We videotape and edit functions, graduations, stage shows, music videos, and even funerals. We have a video studio and offer help with your marketing and promotional planning. So WhatsApp or call us at 883-0525. Well, thanks for coming in today, Councilor Hamilton. I'm quite sure a lot of our viewers would have had the opportunity, to listen to you, to see what you're about, to get a better feel as to who Councilor Hamilton, who has been in office for how long now?
I've been in office from 2012.
Okay.
March 26.
Okay, so next year would be 10 years. Yeah.
11. 2012, we're in 2020 now.
So 2021.
So yes, this year. So this year would be March.
11 years, and next year, the maths there. All right, we're gonna start over. So Councilor Hamilton, how long have you been in office now?
I've been in office since 2012. So we're in 2021 March. I'm now 11 years in office.
Okay.
And this is my second term. We're expecting next local government election to come up. It's due, and it can be called anytime between now and February next year. So we're on our P's and Q's.
Okay. Well, I'm quite sure that a lot of the viewers would have now gotten the opportunity to know who is Councilor Hamilton, and even if they are new to the community and have not gotten a chance to talk to you directly, this would have assisted them in knowing who it is that presently deals with some of their needs as far as the division is concerned. Thanks for coming in, and you'll be invited again.
Thank you very much for having me and giving me the opportunity to have my say in a wider audience for persons to get to know me better. But I can see into person. I'm easy accessible. Just see me on the street, call me. Most persons think being a politician is a big thing and is a standoff issue. We are most welcoming person. We like persons to interact with us. So feel free. I'm at the municipality in Portmore Pines. You can come over or call.
Hi viewers, my name is Ian Bennett and I am the host of In the Hot Seat. If you like the video you just saw and would like to see more of the same type of video, please click the subscribe button and the like button as we produce videos every Wednesday. Thank you.